You know, I was at work today talking to some co-workers, and I live down here in Jacksonville, Florida, and my co-workers, they all been down here their whole life. And the amazing thing about them, to me, is how, I don't know, brainwashed they are to the American way of life. I mean, when they start asking me questions and I start telling them what I think, they act so surprised that they actually meet somebody who thinks the way I do. In other words, who thinks that, America's a big imperialist corporation that goes around the world bullying other countries and starting wars and stealing resources and shit. They can't believe they actually met somebody who believes that when they talk to me. And with me, I can't believe how brainwashed they are. Even after all this happened with Donald Trump and the Iran-Iraq wars and January the 6th and all these things that have happened right before their eyes that prove what a lie America is. All of this stuff, and they still believe wholeheartedly in the lie. It's hard for me to understand that shit. I mean, being educated and understanding how white people really are, I mean, I really do understand it, but it's amazing when it's right up in your face. And you tell them what's really going on, only because they ask you. Because I don't just run around, popping shit. I wait till somebody asks me a question. And they ask me what I thought about the Israel-Palestinian conflict that's going on right now. About what's happening to the Palestinians. And I tell them. And they hit you back with the exact same thing that they heard on the news the night prior about why this is happening, because Israel has a right to defend itself. That's the line they use. And then when I tell them about some stuff, some of the things that's happening over there, some of the atrocities that are happening over in Gaza right now, they act so surprised and so shocked that one group of people would do such a thing to another group of people. They just don't believe it. And they either change the subject and so they could go right back to their own way of thinking, or they just dismiss me altogether. Because they totally believe that Israel is doing the right thing because the Palestinians are firing rockets into their towns and cities. Anyway, it's hard to believe how polarized this country is. And when the two of those many different groups get together, it's hard to understand how totally and completely somebody can hold on to their belief system. I mean, these people get up and say the Star Spangled Banner every morning. Not the Star, but the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. They get up and they put their hand over their heart and the whole nine. And me, I just sit there. Continue with whatever I'm doing. And that's how polarized just that classroom is. It's a microcosm of the whole school. Actually, you know what? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's probably a microcosm of the school system, but not that school. That school pretty conservative. I'm out by the beach. I'm out by the beach, in Jacksonville. And, well, I used to be out by the beach when I first went to work there. I'm still close to the beach, but not. Right now I'm about 40 miles from the beach. But before I was 3 miles from the beach, right on the fucking beach. And so all of them people over there are real conservative, and that's where my school is. That's where I work. And all these motherfuckers is flag waving. I see Confederate flags and shit all over the place. It's crazy, man. So that's why they think the way they think. But the sad part about it is a lot of the black people I work with, they think the same way. It's so... I have a tough time finding somebody even close to being like me. Especially at my age. I met, I want to say, maybe 2 guys my age who had the same mindset I do. I met 2. Most of them is just, like Professor Black True said, they trying to die a slow death. A slow and painless death. And gave up. Ain't nothing we can do about it. Anybody vote for the Democrat. And all that old bullshit. Anyway, I'm talking to these motherfuckers. And they spewing this motherfucking bullshit at me. And all the time I'm thinking, they justifying what's going on with the Palestinians the same way they justify what goes on with black people in this country. And like I said in my other video, that's where they're trying to put us, right at that level, with the Palestinians. We already fourth-class citizens, us ADOS. We already there. And they, for a minute there, it looked like nobody was ever going to go to jail for killing one of us. And by and large, they really don't go to jail for killing one of us. I mean, you'll see George Floyd's killer go to jail because that was too high profile. And you may see 1 or 2 other things happen to the police. By and large, they get away with it. They get clean away with it. So they're able to kill us and shoot us down in the street. When if it were anybody else, they wouldn't even be allowed to pull their gun out. And I ain't just me talking. You can look all over the internet and you'll see videos where the white people get to defy the cops and cuss them out and chase them with their car and drag them down the street and piss on them and do all kind of crazy shit to them, and nothing happens to them. But us ADOS, us black people, we get shot down with impunity. We do. We get shot down like dogs, like we don't even matter. That's where Black Lives Matter came from. That ain't what Black Lives Matter is now. But that's what Black Lives Matter was supposed to be about before it got co-opted. You know. That shit is in keeping with the King Alfred plan, though. If you're familiar with that, when motherfuckers was running around talking about the King Alfred plan and Rex 84, back maybe probably 5-6 years ago. But you got to search that shit, and then you have you'll see how we might just be being slowly walked into that shit. We, meaning us black people, us African Americans, ADOS motherfuckers, whatever term you want to use. We getting slow walked into that shit. And if we ain't careful, that's where we're gonna be. You know. We only got one, to me anyway, we only got one small lane of leverage with white people. And that's our ability to dominate sports and athletics. Entertainment, they have co-opted all the entertainment, and the entertainers that's out there scared to say any motherfucking thing out the way. But we could bring up a generation of athletes who just refuse to sell out. We could start at Little League, Pop Warner, middle school soccer. whatever, high school tennis, whatever have you. But you can take your star black athletes and you can raise them a certain way. You really can. And so that by the time they get to be where they dominate a sport, they'll have a whole different attitude. As far as white folks is concerned, and performing for white folks and not using their voice where they can. Because like Dr. John Henry Clark said, artists are supposed to use their art to improve the society in which they live. And an athlete is an artist. You know. So we could do something about that. We got one little lane we could go through. And that's athletics and sports. By the time the motherfuckers reach 7th, 8th grade going into high school, a lot of times it's already too fucking late. They're already seeing the NBA and NFL and nothing the fuck else. You know. Or whatever equivalent of that, there is for women and whatever other demographic you fit into. You just see the professional level and the money and what you got to do to get it. And you don't think about your people. You be thinking about getting the fuck away from your people. We got to raise a group of athletes that don't think like that. And we can do it. Yeah. Otherwise, we kind of fucked. Because we don't control nothing else. We don't control anything else. We don't control what we see on TV. We don't control what news we get to hear. We don't control what gets said about us. We don't get control over anything. When people talk about white supremacy, that's what they're talking about. We don't own and control anything in this country. Like Dr. Claude Anderson said. You see. So when people say, white people ain't supreme over me, not you as an individual, but the collective, yes, they are. They own and control everything. And it's up to us as black people to wrest control of something for ourselves. Otherwise, we gonna be like the fucking Palestinians. They got us almost there now, but we gonna be like the motherfucking Palestinians. You see the Palestinians in Gaza? Keep fucking around, that's gonna be us. It's a lot of motherfucking white people in high places who already think that way. Every once in a while they'll slip up and say some shit too, don't they? If we don't watch out, that's us. I don't want to hear about what motherfucking commentator or YouTuber don't like the other one and who don't agree with whom and who might be an agent and who might not be an agent. I don't give a fuck about that. I just know what's real and what's going to happen. You see the Palestinians? That's us if we don't get our shit together. So, yeah. With that, I'm going to get on these motherfucking weights. I'm out.